voting in the 2020 Queensland election, and using your preferences wisely. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee, because today is the day for the 2020 Queensland election. Everyone has to go out there and vote. So I thought I'd do a quick video just looking at all the parties and choices that we have, and then at the end of that I will link to, or attach, a previous video I did, you can see it over here, looking at just a comic explaining preference voting here in Australia, because a lot of people don't appreciate it. They don't understand how it's working. And I think it's in the interest of our political parties to ensure our education system doesn't let people understand how preferential voting works. It is a fantastic invention. It is probably the best invention Australia has given the world, our voting system. It is wonderful. And it's spread around the world. It is our gift to the world. We should be proud of it as Australians. But most people don't realize the power that it has. Because for the miners, it can help them get electoral funding if they get enough votes. So let's have a look, because the big two, they just get, they get yearly policy development money from all of us. We donate to it through our taxes. It's wonderful. So let's have a look at our options here, and we'll just merge this over here. So there are a few parties running in Queensland. Now you can find that all on the Queensland Electoral Commission, and these are all the parties registered in Queensland. Now, first one, and we'll just go in the order on the list here. So the first one is the Labor Party. Now let me know if you can find any of their policies on here. Seems to be a little bit hard too. You can join the party, you can find your local member, you can donate, you can join. Where are their policies? You can get merch. Why the hell would you get Labour? I guess, oh well, there you go. This is enough right here. We are safe. What is this? We are safe because she is strong. All hail the leader. So, yeah, I mean, this is enough. The fact that they're putting out crap like that's enough for me to not be interested. But I take issue with Labor in Queensland in particular because of, well, the federal election, the fake propaganda that was being put out about privatising Medicare, which was utter rubbish. And I saw people at the polling booth lying to pensioners to scare them, to get them to vote. But also because here in Queensland they've legalised abortion up to birth. Now, I'm pro-life. I wasn't all my life. My opinion changed as I had children, as I held my own baby in my hands. And as I had a child who's got a disability, someone with Downs. It's kind of sad for me even more because, well, when you see how lovely and wonderful they are and people are ending them. So that's my big gripe with Labor here in Queensland at the moment. You can argue it from a religious perspective. You can argue it from a non-aggression principle perspective. But that's probably one of the big things that they've pushed through. And they want to hide it. They're not really proud of it, are they? But they were cheering. So, yeah. Fantastic, isn't it? I guess that's the problem when you have childless post-war women running your state. So, next. Who's next? I mean, this is their state. This is all I could find. Because there's no policies here. This is their platform. Who's going to go through a 200-page or 100-page document to look at them? Not today. Then you have the Greens, who was next on the list. Yeah, I think the Greens came before Liberal. We've got the Greens. So here you've got their plan, their candidates. So they want a COVID-19 economic recovery plan, fully funded health and education, free hospital parking, free school breakfasts and lunch. See, this sounds good. This sounds good, but I don't agree with the government dietary guidelines in the slightest. I'm going down low carb, high fat. I'm kind of ketovore at the moment. I don't agree with anything that they're proposing. My father-in-law, he wound up in hospital the other day, and they wanted to just fill him full of insulin because he's diabetic. He goes, no, I manage the insulin because of his diet. I feel sorry for the staff there because he's laying into him all the time. Like they'll offer him a bicky and go, why would I want that poison in my body? becoming, nice and grumpy. It's good. Free hospital parking. I mean, yeah, it sounds nice. And yeah, well, I don't know if it's gonna work. You may never get a park then. Their plans are fully funded by making big banks, depositors, and mining corporations pay their fair share of state-based taxes. 100% publicly owned renewable energy. A publicly funded and paid GP for every community. Fully funded healthcare. Free sport for kids. So lots of stuff they want to give away. They want to revive manufacturing and then raise royalties. I mean, it'd be good if we actually managed to get some of the... I would like the royalties not to be paid in money, but to be paid in a share of the resources. That's what I think would be more useful. So forget this money. It's all fiat. It's going to be worthless. So at least the Greens have a series of policies that are quite easy to see. They want a developer tax. 75% developer tax on land value gains from rezoning. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. It'll hit... I have to look into that. And what's the point of then having councils? Isn't that how they all get in? So there's the Greens. You can see, they've got some policies that are quite easily accessible. Better than this. Then we have One Nation. And they've got their policies too. Affordable energy and cost of living. Asylum seekers and refugees. Australian infrastructure and jobs. Now, these are their national policies, but, they flow through to the Queensland election. Once that loads up. Bringing back Australian values. A citizen-initiated referendum. Queenslanders need real change now, not later. Oh, wait, no, that was their policies. Education, firearms, a 19-point plan. Well, that would be easy to own a gun. So you can see here, youth justice, right to life. What's their policy on that? Reduce the gestation limit for abortion, so they're pulling it back. That's the thing, up until the day of birth. I mean, I remember when the first, Cherished Life was kicked out of like a burger place. And it was a $500 donation. I rang up and gave them $500. And she was telling me, because I was born extremely premature, I was 3 months preemie, and I said, oh, well, I'm lucky I made it. I was born 3 months preemie. And then she'd say, no, they're pushing to get it all the way through to birth, which just seems insane. Really, if you get a baby that far, you should put up for adoption. I would say, if you don't want it, it's kind of, yeah. It surprises me that in a state where you apparently have such a high Christian population, Labor gets in. I don't understand. I think it's just people don't appreciate their policies, or they don't understand it. So there you go. I mean, One Nation, you could see all of their different policies here. What about the education policy? That'd be interesting to see. Come on, I can't click on it. Prioritize the development of comprehensive reading, writing, science, and math skills. Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good. So One Nation, easily accessible policies as well. I think the miners need to put a little bit more effort in. I think Labor kind of wants to hide their policies and just wants you to get in on fear. That's the scary thing. So Cannabis Party. There you go. Cannabis Party. Where are their policies? Here we go. Agricultural policies, economic, energy, First Australians, firearms, infrastructure, justice. Once again, very easily accessible. Let's have a look at their water policies. Hell's Gate Dam, Irrigation Development Scheme. Okay. Not surprised at all. I mean, it's the Cannabis Party. I get the feeling they seem to be taking the place of traditional nationals in some ways, particularly for Northern Queensland's. Long-term water security for Townsville. Okay. Then we have the LNP. And again, their policies are quite easy to find. You can just go Liberal National Party. We'll turn off Deb there. Thank you. View all our policies. Very easy to find. Rebuilding Queensland's economy and creating jobs. Building new and better roads. Get back to basics in schools. You'll find there's a lot of overlap in policies between these parties. which is a good thing. You want to see maybe a policy will emerge in a minor and then it starts to get picked up by one of the big ones. Oh, look, such and such got such a high percentage of the vote, and that's the power of preferences. Let's look at some of their policies and steal them. What's getting people interested? Here's one I thought was interesting again. Build dams and secure our water supply. Now, I've done videos on this. So, deliver the new Bradfield scheme. I think that may be enough to flip a few people. Potable water per population ratio, it's not it's going down, everyone. Then we have the Motorist, Civil Liberties and Motorist Party. So what do you have here? Why are they showing Nelson Mandela? I mean, he's a Marxist terrorist. Anyway, you know, sorry. That's not the commonly accepted narrative, is it? So, remove road tolls, fix speed cameras, and abolish Spur. Keep essential services in state ownership and control. Protect civil liberties and free speech, Bill of Rights. Now, I mean, I like that, but we saw how useless the Bill of Rights was in Victoria, didn't we? Control corporate greed and end political corruption. Cut salaries and perks for politicians and senior public servants. Stop water fluoridation and animal cruelty. So you can see they have their policies right here. Truth in labelling. They're against GMOs. Which, okay. I mean, if you really want to get down to it, pretty much every plant product you eat isn't natural. It's all been selectively grown and manipulated by mankind throughout history. But I appreciate their right to. Well, I think I would simply argue you need to have labeling, so to make it clearer for people to understand what they're buying, rather than banning something which can have a very useful impact. So, but there you go. Their policies are clear. They're all here and available. Their missions about tolls, myths about tolls, all these things here. So it's good to see. Good to see that it's clearly communicated. Then you've got the Queensland shooters, fishers, and farmers. And let's have a look. We've got their policies as well. Protect your freedom from as little as 8 cents a day. New South Wales policies, federal policies, COVID-19 statement. Okay, they don't really have anything on Queensland. Let's have a look at federal. Currently under review. They'll be back up soon. Okay. I don't really know how big their presence is here in Queensland, everyone. But, I mean, there you go. You can look at some of their policies and or their track record. Management plans may try shooting easier for everyone. I don't know what that is. That's good, though. I mean, here you go. They're focusing on recreation, fighting for taxi plate owners, operators, and drivers. See, this is the thing. No party is going to be perfect. They're going to not represent everything you want. That's fine. You've got to understand that. Don't put all your faith in, one party will lead it to victory. I see in the comments going, blame this party or blame this party. Or if we had this party, it'd be better. No, guys, it's going to be shit no matter what. It's politics. That's what it is. You just want to be smart. You don't want to just be an ideologue and just simply go down one path. You want to look at the options of all of the different things you have on the table, because we have a smorgasbord of choices here. We've got a buffet. You can pick and use the power of your preferences to send a message, even if you can't waste your vote in Australia. Okay, so there you go. We support timber workers. Then we have the North Queensland, the North Queensland Party. So they pledged $4.5 million to kickstart Pioneer Valley Tourist Railway, Bowen to Pilbara. North Queensland first backs Transcontinental Railway. North Queensland first promises 200k to develop Hideaway Bay Sports Field. So a regional party for North Queensland. Look at some of their policies. Real royalties for regions. Okay, that's their policy. Cool. Something to consider for those in North Queensland, definitely. You've got, it's a small party, but there's people who are stepping up. Good on them. I know, in Queensland, everyone, we're down here in Brisbane. Well, that's where I am, southeast Queensland here, Brisbane. Often, for people in the rest of the state, it feels like everything is just focused on here. All the money, all the spending. You go a bit further out. I mean, I don't know, you go a bit west to people in the country, and they've still got pretty good services. It usually is healthcare that's kind of left behind, sadly. Then what do we have next? We've got the Motorist Party, the Queensland state election. Passionate individuals coming together for various backgrounds and professions. I see that as food. I see that as food. If you've been watching, I've packed on the kilos in the last couple of months because I slipped up with my diet, something chronic. So I'm back on OMAD. And I've been eating like big steaks every morning. So I haven't had my breakfast yet. I'll do it after I record this, but I just see that as food. So let's look at their policies and positions. Again, it's easy to see. So you don't, it's easy for you if you want to learn about them. Okay, let's have a look at abortion. Let's look at voluntary euthanasia. So they've got very left-leaning policies, animals, environment, humans. Let's see what they say about humans. There you go. Gun control. This is from the National Conference for them. The AGP supports the 96 National Firearms Agreement. Gun violence has no place in Australia, yet the proliferation of firearms puts innocent lives in danger. Okay, so they're against having the capacity to force amplify yourself and to defend yourself. What else do they have here? I wanted to look at their abortion policy because they're all about animals. We're animals too. The government has a responsibility to provide safe, affordable and accessible contraception and abortion services. No women seeking these services should be subject to criminal charges. Which, I can appreciate women shouldn't be subject to criminal charges, but in a civilization as advanced as ours, we shouldn't need to be resorting to ending human life out of convenience, which is most of the time, sadly. You look at it like that. So, there you go. You've got the Motorist Party. Not a party I would consider voting for myself, but if that's something you're interested in, go for it. Use your preferences wisely. But just realize what price you may pay if they get power. But, that's the fun of democracy. And the problem of democracy. So, Clive Palmer's United Australia Party. So, these are some of his policies for the 2020 election. Again, very easy to see. And I like some of Clive's policies. I really do. Because you can tell he's in business. Some people don't like him. But he's got some smart policies, particularly around business. And I honestly would like to see Clive's vote get to a point where some of the other parties start adopting some of these policies. Zonal taxation. I really like that. Regional communities are the backbone of the state, and we aim to stimulate economic growth in rural areas. Brisbane is bursting at the seams, and we face a future of heavy congestion, serious housing affordability issues, and mounting cost of living pressures. By providing tax incentives, we can decentralise Queensland and encourage people to move or settle in regional areas. They want to abolish payroll tax. They want to reintroduce the upper house of Queensland. That's fantastic there, right there. That's the first party we've seen that as a policy, haven't we? I think that needs to happen. We don't have an upper house in Queensland, guys. They got rid of it. So things can just fly through. Labor got rid of it, actually. We need an upper house, particularly for the miners to give them a say. The role of the upper house is to ensure representation, not just geographically, but for the makeup of the state. It's to do on your percentages. We need an upper house in Queensland. Well, that's good. That's very good there. I haven't seen anyone else. Let me know in the comments if any of the other parties are proposing that. Halt coal seam gas until water table is secured. Abolishment of land tax. Queenslanders should not be punished for owning property. Abolishment of stamp duty. See, I'm liking all his policies here right now. First farm buyers grant with concessional interest rate for 5 years. Prioritise regional development, mineral processing in Australia. Electricity prices. Queenslanders pay some of the highest prices in the world, more than twice what Americans pay. Yeah, it's really depressing, particularly when I was getting into crypto, looking at how much crypto mining, how much all these Americans were paying. So I like a lot of these policies here. What do you reckon, everyone? I think zonal taxation is one step towards special economic regions around the country. So, good on Clive. Good that he's putting these policies out there. And so far, the only one discussing the reintroduction of an upper house in Queensland. What do we have here? Then you've got the IMOP, the Informed Medical Opinions Party. And in the Informed Medical Opinions Party, formerly known as Involuntary Medicine Objectors, the Vaccine Fluoride Party, stood in May 18, 2019, the AFE, against the form of forced medication. So really, consent and choice. And I respect the right for people to make these choices. Which is going to be even, more significant considering the current situation we're in with the, plague going around the world and every hope put on a vaccine as the solution. So, there you go. Let's have a look at some of their policies. They're for choice, vaccination, remove no jab, no pay, support increased parental leave for 12 months, defend the right for Australians to choose traditional and natural therapies, fluoride, remove it from all Australian water supplies, and abortion. They oppose the bill and seek to remove it as a priority. So they want to get rid of full-term abortion, pollution, climate change, conduct an independent environmental impact review of all government-approved pesticides, insecticides, and herbicides. They want to ban 5G, support Indigenous culture. So you can see all of their policies here. Education, some more support community schools, and move more support for alternative and homeschooling. So human rights. So bring back freedom of choice and speech regarding vaccination. We want to end censorship on this topic, and that's an important thing. Freedom of speech needs to be put out there. So businesses support small business, develop policies for less regulation, red tape, and laws. And then we have the last party here in Queensland is the Legalised Cannabis Party. So the grape theory. Treat cannabis like grapes, grow as many as you want, no license. Make as many of those grapes as you want into wine, no license. Share the wine with your friends and family, no license. However, the moment you want to sell some of the wine, you require a license, show quality control and safety for human consumption, and pay the appropriate fees. Seems quite reasonable. What do you think? What do you think, guys? Do you think Australians need to have, or in Queensland, should we look at legalizing cannabis? I've got absolutely no issues with this at all. None at all. And they've got candidates in 23 seats, which is good to see. So this is one as well to consider. You may think, they'll never get up for him. Why will I waste my vote? But you'll not waste your vote. You won't waste your vote with a minor. And that's where we'll look at this other video about how you can actually use your preferences. Say you're a fan of the Cannabis Party, or you want to put a vote for Clive Palmer's party, or you like the North Queensland Party, but you're worried that one of the big ones you'll be wasting your vote. Not if you vote strategically. Put a minor first, guys. Put the civil liberties first. Put the Greens first. Not that I would, but still, if that's what you want to do, don't be afraid to use your preference. So you can vote, and put One Nation first. Put any of them first. Even the Animal Justice Party. Why not? And use your preferences so you can position your, put it in order. What I'll do is I will go over now to this other video, but I'd suggest, I'll link to all of these political parties, guys. Have a look at their websites, look at which policies you support. I like the fact that Clive Palmer is calling for a reintroduction of the upper house in Queensland. That, I think, is very important. That alone, that bringing attention to that is enough for me to chuck a vote his way. Put him up my preference list right there. What do you think? So guys, now I will hand you over to Florian of the Past, and we will go through that comic. Remember, you can't waste your vote in Australia. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of HeiseSays. Now I thought I'd go through this comic that was drawn by Patrick Alexander, and this is fantastic. It just explains our voting system here in Australia, because we have preferential voting. You can nominate someone who you prefer. If they don't get in, you've got a second preference. So you really can't lose. And a lot of people seem to think that voting for a minor or a smaller party is a waste of a vote. I think we need to shift the window. I think people need to frankly, vote outside of their comfort zone to send a clear message to the media and to the established politicians. So let's have a look through this comic, because this is fantastic. And I'll link to his website so you can share this comic directly with everyone. I thought I'd just read through it because I saw it a few years ago and I loved it. So, hello Australia. It's me, and I'm going to try and do voices. We'll see. We'll see. So, hello Australia. It's me, your good friend Dennis, the election koala. It's that time again, so let's meet the candidates, hoping to represent your electorate in the House of Representatives of the Federal Parliament. Oh boy, I am a terrible voice actor. So we've got the major parties. We've got Bamboot Spit Valve, a complete scumbag party. Policies, kick puppies, beat the poor, and pineapple on pizza. Well, you know, I can agree with pineapple on pizza, that's fine. And Floundra McWhatnot, discreet scumbag party. Put puppies to work, chastise the poor, pizza under pineapple. Oh, that's terrible. Their pineapple policy is terrible. And the miners and independents. So Gord Butterson, independent policies. Televised puppy torture, mandatory constipation, toot toot, I'm a boat. I mean, you can... Every year, this comic just gets better and better because there's more examples to look at. It just feels more accurate. Is it just me? Or maybe I'm just following more politics. So we've got the Aggie Waggy Flum Tums Nice Party. And their policy is hugs, a cup of tea, and smash the state. Oh, I wonder who these parties represent. I wonder who they represent. Let me know in the comments who you think these four are. Let me know. So here we go. Struth. Oh, hang on. I got to do a dingo voice. Struth Dennis and oh bugger that, I'm not doing voices. Struth Dennis and crikey besides. I want to vote for the nice party, but I know they won't win. So I guess I better vote for the discreet scumbags. Otherwise, I'm just throwing away my vote again. Wham! Wrong, Ken the voting dingo. In Australia, we have preferential voting. You can vote for the discreet scumbags party to beat the complete scumbags party and still vote one for a minor party or independent. Huh? What? I don't understand. So you can vote for the nice fluffy wuffy party or the independent. He's put the independent last. See, I like that. CSP, a little poo. Oh, beautiful. So, to win a seat, a candidate must end up with an absolute majority. That is over 50% of the total votes. Imagine your electorate has 100 votes, 51 votes are needed to win. So this is the first time they count it in the House of Reps. So you've got Bamboot at 39 votes, Floundra 35, Aggie Waggy 20, and good old Gort at 6, the fascist. So first, the first votes are counted. But look, no one has the majority. So the loser, Gord, is eliminated because he got the least amount of votes. But the 6 who voted 1 for Gord now have their second preferences counted and transferred to those candidates. There's still no one has an absolute majority of 51 or more, so Aggie Waggy is eliminated. And her votes transfer according to the next preferences. And a surprise victory for Floundra. So there you go. So, I mean, this explains it much better than I think school does or university does or most people will realize. So basically, the dingo's saying, so basically my first choice doesn't win. My second choice gets counted as my first choice and so on. Yes, fantastic. But since my second choice won anyway, what was the point of putting a minor party first? Well, and this is where it relates to my arguments of shifting the window. Firstly, minor parties and independents can and do win seats if enough people vote for them. Since you lose nothing by voting one for whoever you like, why wouldn't you do it? That's a great point. Good work. Secondly, this might happen. So preferences from nice party voters made a big difference. I'll need to keep them happy if I want to beat Bamboot again next time. I'll look into this hugs. Problem is, this is happening. This is happening with the Greens and Labour, and a lot of Labour policies seem to be very green tilted. Thirdly, If a candidate gets at least 4% of first preferences, they'll receive election funding for each of those votes, which will help the next campaign. And there you go, I bought a sign. And this isn't as much as you think. They're never going to make a profit from this money. It'll help cover some of their costs and offset, all the money they've spent on the election. So you can't really go into it to make money, guys. Sorry. I would argue that it should be, that 4% should be a bit lower, to give more candidates an option, because you don't know how much these big parties get. So any more questions, Ken the Voting Dingo? Do I have to number all the boxes? Yes. Do I have to follow a how to vote card? No. So this was done by Patrick Alexander in 2013 or 2019. So it's doing the rounds every election, and there's your democracy dog right there. So guys, that explains it. Remember, this whole preference deals and swaps between the parties is just all it is. It's only present on the how to vote card. So when you're voting, particularly in the Senate for this election, but at the federal level, make sure you tick enough parties to ensure your vote doesn't get exhausted. So if you're just selecting or numbering so many insignificant parties that they'll all disappear, you want to at least keep one major at the end to keep your vote going. But I would definitely, I'm looking at minors. I will be looking at minors because I want to shift the window, and I'll probably be looking outside my comfort zone yet. I still haven't decided who I'm voting for. I still need to look at them all. Everyone, I get the feeling no one's going to be perfect. No one's going to be perfect, but I'm getting more and more worried at these Labor policies that I'm seeing. More and more worried. They're getting scary, and free daycare, banning this industry, doing this, doing that. They really are intervening in the economy a lot, and they're still arguing on the gender pay gap and rubbish like that. So guys, I hope you enjoyed my attempt at reading through this comic, and I hope it helped you understand the preference system here in Australia. Let me know who you think these four are. And please go to the author's website and share this comic around. He wants people to read it, learn about it, to get more votes for the minors. Even in the House of Reps, you want to get their percentage higher. You want to show that, minor party here is doing okay. I'll happily vote for them. In the Senate, you want to mix of minors. You want to control the damage that the next government can do to our country. Honestly, I don't think it's going to be able to avoid a recession. I think even with qualitative easing or government spending, quantitative easing, but it is qualitative ease too, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe. Ding the bell to see my daily updates, and I'll talk to you all again tomorrow. Bye for now.